right, well, welcome everyone. So I want to give you guys a quick overview of what's going to be on the midterm. And to start you off, I want to show you that under the module schedule where it says midterm week, that's now an active link. And you can see when you go there at the very top, you see Online Government 300 midterms, Online Government 300 final. So if you're an online student, a virtual student, you'll be clicking here and that's where the midterm will come up. It's going to be a protected PDF. You won't be able to print it or save it or anything. You'll just be able to open it up and look at it, and it'll be password protected, and I'll give you the password in the Zoom session. So just as a reminder, our midterm is a week from today, Wednesday, June 26th, and for the online students it runs, for you guys, for the online section, it's Tuesday, June 25th from 5 to 6:30, and then for the face-to-face students, I know Taisha's here, you're on Wednesday, June 26th, right? To get you guys set up, just remember you want to position a camera somehow so that you show your own desk space. I've got a picture here, kind of me showing my own desk space with a camera set up, and you want to make sure that you know how to scan and submit your exam. And I've got a link here, look over here, of how you can use an application like Genius Scan. And the reason I recommend Genius Scan, by the way, is because it's free. Number one. Number two, it's the same application on an Android device versus an iOS device. And so I have it on my phone, and if you're struggling with it, then maybe I could try and see, walk you through on my phone and see if we can figure out what the problem is when you're trying to submit your exam. But yeah, you're going to need, at the conclusion of your exam, at the beginning of your exam, what you're going to do is before you start to write, you're going to take a standard sheet of printer paper, 8.5 by 11, and you go double-sided with it. And that's your cheat sheet. You can bring your cheat sheet, of course, bring a calculator. Phones are not permitted other than as, your Zoom recording device or to scan your exam. They're not permitted to be visible or used on your desk space. So you have to bring your calculator, your cheat sheet, pens and pencils, and the exam booklet that you create, 8.5 by 11. And I would recommend 10 sheets of paper, and I would not go double-sided with them. And the reason why I wouldn't go double-sided when you do an exam is because sometimes it bleeds through to the other side, and when you scan it, you see kind of both sides of the page at the same time. So I recommend that people just write on one side of the page and then go to the next page, the next page. At the top of each page, you're going to have your name and your page number, and when you scan your exam, you're going to scan them in order of your pages, however many. So say it takes 6 pages to do the exam, then you should have 6 pages, and then the last 2 pages, you're going to do front side and back side of your cheat sheet. All right, so let me go into modules here, and I'm going to look at some of these old midterms. I'm just going to pick one at random, a more recent one. And so I'll look at the spring 2014 midterm. All right, and so here it is. This is going to be essentially the same layout as you guys get for your midterm, and I can tell you specifically regarding proportions and what's going to be on the exam. So as I get there, I will. But you're going to have a multiple choice section. There'll be 10, or there'll be 15 questions. It'll be 20 to 30% of your exam. And I can tell you at the end of the multiple choice, I always ask questions about level of measurement. So make sure you check for those. Now, the ways that I can ask multiple choice questions in a course like Government 300 are very restricted, right? The content doesn't change, year to year, decade to decade, and so. My advice to you is if you look at all of the old midterms and you look at all of the old multiple choice sections across those old midterms, you'll probably see some kind of variant of every possible multiple choice question I could ask you. So it's a great way to study the multiple choice. And then I'm definitely going to ask you guys about rewriting hypotheses, where you have to identify the error with the hypotheses and then rewrite the hypothesis correctly. You will get a standard errors question. And I'll cover through today. I'll cover calculation for that. You will get a big question here, where in the big question I'm going to ask you a variety of things: central location, dispersion, so mean, median, mode, B ratio, IQR, variance, standard deviation. Might ask you to do a box plot or some other graphic. And then I'll ask you to use the empirical rule and make a probability claim. There will probably be, in fact, I know for certain, there certainly will be an ethics question on the exam, and there will be a bonus question. I often ask this Pierre-Simon Laplace question. I often have in the past also asked about IBM Who's Joseph Nye, what did he create, etc. How much did he sell it for? So we're talking about SPSS. So Joseph Nye created SPSS back in 1968, sold it to IBM, about 10 years ago for $2 billion. Right? And then on the exam itself will also be a formula sheet. So as you build your cheat sheet, just keep in mind that I am going to give you all the formulas. And there will also be a normal distribution table, so you don't have to memorize this or learn calculus between now and next week. I'm going to give you this table. And today we're going to all talk through how to use this table. And that's it. So that's what's actually going to be on the midterm itself. All right, so while I have you all here, do you have any questions about what's going to be on the midterm?
When you give us the formulas, like if you scroll down, it doesn't tell us exactly when to use it. It just,
well, actually, if you look at it, no, so this one doesn't, right? So you have to know what X bar is, you have to know what S squared is, you have to know what S is, etc. Right? So you have to know, for example, X bar is the mean, S squared is the variance, S is standard deviation, that's the Z-score, standard error is margin of error, etc. And these are confidence intervals. So yeah, you will have to know what the use is. So from that perspective, if you're thinking about putting formulas on the cheat sheet, the context I would put them in is that, this is the formula for calculating the mean, and this is how I would use it. I mean, you could put the formula on and then describe to yourself how to use it. That might be an effective use of your cheat sheet space. All right, other questions, guys?